Hey Panda,
Hey, Stallion.
you have a lot of weapons and a lot of armor, yeah?
Yes, my vault is full.
What would you say, overall, is your favorite role?
My favorite role?
Yeah. Just off the top of your head.
That's very hard.
I know. But just, I don't know, your favorite role on your favorite weapon, or your favorite weapon and what role it has. What is your favorite role?
Uh, I guess currently would be the beloved that I have
Okay, tell me about the
with
role.
full bore accurate rounds, demolition is quick draw, range masterwork.
Nice, man. Nice. See,
Yeah.
I would have to say that my favorite roll is probably a bacon and egg roll. It's just delicious. Welcome to episode 12.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, it was a lot of setup.
uh, and you thought mine was bad last week.
It was really
Episode 12? Wow, weird.
bad. Yeah,
Almost a year
man.
old.
It's not at all true.
Uh,
It's still 40 more weeks before we're a year old. We're not even halfway
okay,
there.
we're close. We're getting there.
We'll get there one day. We'll make it.
So,
So, hey.
hi, if this is the first episode that you're tuning into, my name's Panda.
And I'm Sestallion.
Whew, that was an intro.
It was an intro.
So what happened in the week of Destiny?
In the week of Destiny, I mean, nothing happened in game, but we got so much information about Shadowkeep, and I don't know if you remember, but earlier on in the podcast, we said we're primarily going to be talking about what is happening now. We're not going to look forward too much into Shadowkeep until it's closer to the time. But man, we got a hell of an info dump this week.
Yeah, we will not be talking about story at all until after Shadowkeep.
Oh yeah,
That's going to be a hard rule.
yeah, like a
Um,
solid 2 weeks after Shadowkeep drops before we mention anything story related.
yep.
And even then,
But
I don't imagine we'll go in depth.
there is a lot of information on what is coming with Shadowkeep.
Yes, in
So
terms
much
of new game
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, I was gonna say new game mechanics, but that's not even true.
No, it is not. Um, so just to talk about it quickly, we had a Armor 2.0 stream,
Yep, the
as well
Bungie
as
live stream on what was it? Was it on Tuesday or Wednesday?
it was on Wednesday.
It was on Wednesday. Yeah. So we got
And then throughout the week, we also had director's cuts from Luke Smith, 3 of them,
yep.
and they were so long.
Which, for those of you that don't know, it's basically Luke Smith being a gigantic nerd and
Yes.
cutting it into 3 articles. And there was a lot of information to read. It was so I didn't read it.
There's a lot.
I didn't
There's a
read
lot.
it
I
all.
took
I
notes.
skimmed. I skimmed, but I couldn't. I didn't have time to read literally everything.
I took notes. There's lots of notes.
So
Are you
many
ready?
notes. I've seen Panda's notes. They're almost as long as the director's cut itself.
Without further ado, let's get into it.
Yeah. So first things first. Typically we like to talk about the TWAB this week at Bungie, but this week's TWAB was a little bit lackluster due to the fact that they gave us the Armor 2.0 stream and the director's cuts. So there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot that was said in the TWAB outside of. Sorry, there's not much information in the TWAB.
Yeah. There was the movie of the week, and it's pretty much just like, hey, go watch and read all of this other stuff that came out this week.
Yeah, they pretty much, the entire TWAB is just linking us to the stream, linking us to the director's cuts, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to go check them out, read them for yourself, go look at the TWAB. It'll have everything right there in like a nice little list for you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a whole lot in terms of TWAB information for us to go over.
Correct.
So we're going to start with the Armor 2.0 stream, even though technically Director's Cut Part 1 came out before the stream. Anyway, it's Armor 2.0.
Uh-huh.
We got a Bungie stream. There were 3 people who were playing I should have written down their names. I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry. There were 3 people who were playing one of each class, and they showed
Mhm.
us the customization on all of the armor and all of the classes. Now, the customization doesn't differ from class to class. Oh, excuse me. Customization doesn't differ from class to class, but they went over it all, I guess, so they could highlight like the each one of the people seemed to have different amounts of stuff. It's like the guy playing the Titan only had 1 or 2 customization options. Anyway, we're gonna go from the least important stuff upwards. So the least important stuff, they're raising the glimmer cap to 250,000 from 100k, which is
Yes.
cool, I guess. I don't know.
I'm okay with it. I'd sit at Glimmer Cap pretty much all week.
Yeah, the only time I
It
wasn't at Glimmer Cap was the first week of Tribute Hall because I spent all of my Glimmer on the
Yeah,
tributes.
Menagerie and Tribute Hall kind of messed up my Glimmer, but
Menagerie.
since with the chests on Werner's,
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Yeah, you're
getting
right.
those chests open.
Completely forgot about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot that existed.
um, the those chests, beginning of Menagerie,
Hmm.
as well as Tribute Hall, kind of messed up my Glimmer. But since
No.
then, since I've finished my chalice, got most of the stuff from it, like I'm just sitting with a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty much constantly at Glimmer Cap now.
Hmm.
So they're raising that, which is cool, and is good because Glimmer is gonna play a slightly more important role, I guess, with Armor 2.0 a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, which I'll get into in just a minute. But so they're bringing new stats. They're bringing the stats in Destiny.
They're coming back.
They're coming back, yeah. The stats from Destiny 1 are making their way back to Destiny 2 in Armor 2.0. So we will have. What do we currently have? Why am I blanking on this?
We currently only have
Oh,
mobility,
right, yes.
resilience,
Yeah, yeah.
and recovery.
Sorry. I was like, what do we have right now? What? I know I have stats, and I know I vaguely care about them, but I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
So mobility affects your
Movement
walking
speed.
speed, your initial jump height, and your ADS strafe speed. Um, Resilience indicates how much health you're gonna have, and recovery is how fast you get that back.
Yeah. Um, so we have those currently, but the returning stats. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm sick. My mind's all over the place. The returning stats are going to be intellect, discipline, and strength, which relate to your class abilities. Not your class ability, but like your grenade, your melee, and your super. So intellect
Yeah.
is for your super, discipline is for your grenade, and strength is for your melee recharge.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all returning on Armor 2.0, but they're going to work a little bit differently than they did in Destiny 1,
Mm-hmm.
because the number that indicates how much of it you have is being changed. It's no longer 1 to 10, it's now 1 to 100.
Yep.
So it's a lot more specific. And it will also show you on the when you hover over it, it'll show you how much that's reducing your grenade cooldown, your melee cooldown, your super cooldown by stuff like that.
Yes, and I do believe that each increment of 10 equates roughly to about one stat point that we have currently.
Yeah, something like that.
So if you have 80 mobility, that translates roughly to about 8 mobility currently.
Yeah,
If that wants to, that makes it easier for you.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, or even easier, you can just look at it and it'll tell you how much of a buff it's actually giving you instead of just a rough estimate based on a number between 1 and 10,
Correct.
which is going to be really, really nice. So we're getting
Mm-hmm.
that back, and those are going to randomly roll on Armor 2.0, I believe.
I
But you
believe so.
can sway them slightly using mods. And the mod system, it's a changing. It's a
Yes.
big changing.
Do you want me?
Yeah,
Do
you
you want
go
me to go
ahead.
over that?
Yeah, I need to take a drink.
So the way that I understand mods, and if Stallion wants to chime in, because my understanding is kind of brief, um, you have 10 points that you are given with a piece of armor, right? And you have to masterwork it to get up to those 10 points.
Yes.
Each mod that you use has a certain number of points that can be, um, a certain number of points need to be used to apply it. So
Yes.
say traction, for example, is 3 points, whereas something like enhanced sniper targeting is 6 points. So you need to have your armor up to that point in
Yep.
order to apply it.
So it means
Um,
that they're trying to restrict usage slightly. Like you couldn't have enhanced hand cannon loader and something else. Because because it would like equate to 11 points or whatever, and you don't have that many. So it means really picking and choosing your perks. But that's one of the big benefits of Armor 2.0 is you can pick your perks through the mods.
yes.
So instead of sitting around waiting for a pair of boots to roll with traction that actually look good with how your warlock looks, you can just find a pair of boots that you like and apply traction.
Yes, so all mods are universal, in the sense that they don't depreciate with the armor. Say if I had a set of traction boots now, if I deleted them, I wouldn't get traction back out of that. So
Yeah.
the mods are, once you obtain the mods, you use them whenever you want, as long as they fit on that armor piece. Um,
Now, this is where things get a little bit complicated
hmm
because, like Panda said, the mods they drop from places. So once you obtain it, that's it. You have that mod. You can apply it to whatever armor it corresponds to. But certain mods can only be applied to certain energy armor. So, for example, right now, so what is it? If you have like a solar armor piece and you fully masterwork it, it'll give you a slight buff when you're using the corresponding subclass in your super
Yeah, you
to
get
like a
slight
resilience
damage
buff.
resistance, yeah, in your
Yeah.
super.
So, same sort of thing. There's going to be armor that has a corresponding element. I'm going to say element because it's easier than just throwing the word energy around because it exists so many places in Destiny already. We don't need more energy. Come on now.
hmm
So I'm going to say element. So, for example, if you acquire a mod and it's like, oh, here's enhanced shotgun dexterity and it has a little arc thingy on it, it means you can only apply that enhanced shotgun dexterity to an arc armor piece.
And I do believe, and you can quote me or I can redact this statement later, is random rolls on the armor will it also be random elements on that armor as well.
I believe so, and I'm not 100% sure how the mods work just yet. Like, for example, let's use traction as an example, although I think traction might be universal. Anyway, we'll use traction as an example. Say I get a pair of boots, and I have the arc traction. That's stupid. We're gonna go with shotgun scavenger.
Okay.
Arc shotgun scav, right? Is there also going to be like a void and solar shotgun scav, or in order to use shotgun scav do I have to have arc armor? They didn't really clear that up all too well, or at least my stupid brain couldn't comprehend it. So I guess we'll
I
see
think,
closer to the time, but I'm not 100% sure on it one way or another.
yeah, I think, and this is just speculation, is it's just going to be one shotgun scav. So you are limiting your choices of armor that way. But if you grind
Yeah,
enough armor of that type, you will eventually get an arc leg piece or
yeah, yeah.
class item,
Okay.
whatever it is. Um,
Well, I hope that's the way it works.
me too. Me too.
Um, and if that sounds kind of crappy, like oh man, but then I still don't get to look however I want to look because my perks are even more restricted. Don't worry about it, because there
hmm
is gonna be a transmog system, kinda.
Kind of.
It only applies to stuff that you get from Eververse, which
hmm
I'm fine with because some of my favorite armors come from Eververse. But you'll be able to apply it as ornaments on any armor 2.0.
Yep. So if you've acquired any of the previous Eververse armor across any season period, you'll be able to use that as just switching the ornament
Yeah,
around on it.
exactly. And there's a
Um,
there's a chance. I mean, definitely do not quote me on this because I could be super duper wrong. But there's a chance that since they're doing that kind of thing, maybe they'll have it include any ornaments you have collected. So, for example, Iron Banner ornaments. Maybe you just throw them on anything so that it can look like that. I don't know, but it would. I imagine this system is going to get expanded upon at some point.
I do believe, and this is just coming from people that I've talked to, is Iron Banner's going to have its own set that you
Yeah.
can then use the ornaments kind of like this season. Same
Mm-hmm.
with Crucible as well as Vanguard.
Okay.
So if you've unlocked the seasonal um, ornaments from
Ornaments.
1, 2, or
Mm-hmm.
3, then you can use those on those
Okay.
sets.
Well, I'm excited to see how the transmogul works out. And mostly, I'm fine with it because, like I said, a lot, like pretty much all of my gear that I currently use and I really really like the look of is Eververse stuff anyway.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm excited.
Also, this is again like I could be super wrong, and I really hope I'm not. I really hope I wasn't misunderstanding it, but they said that all armor in the game is gonna be upgraded to armor 2.0 from drops. Anything you have currently that's regular, normal, this iteration of armor is going to remain as it is. But for example, if you were to go and play Leviathan and you get a pair of gauntlets after Shadowkeep drops, they will be armor 2.0 gauntlets. So if there's an armor set from year one that you really liked and you really really want to grind for, you can do so, and it will be armor 2.0.
Yes, I do believe that's how it works. So if you can still obtain it now, it is Armor 2.0 after Shadowkeep.
Which is amazing because my favorite chess piece on my hunter is from Warmind.
Which one?
I don't remember what it's called, but I'm pretty sure it's the one that comes from Anna Bray, like her engrams.
Ah,
Because it just
I think I like.
it makes me feel like Han Solo, man. It makes me feel like
It's the one
Han
with like
Solo.
the vest, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Gotcha.
this season's Eververse chess piece is very very similar, but it has this satchel that I don't like.
Mm,
But it
gotcha.
has the vest, so I use it. So if I can get the Anna Bray chess piece, vest, no satchel, Han Solo, let's go.
Oh yeah. It just gives you more room to customize your Guardian because all armor is going to be 2.0,
Yeah,
and
exactly. So like
uh,
it's not gonna be like, for example, now we're a little bit restricted when it comes to armor. Like, oh, there's the one Crucible set, the one Vanguard set, the one Gambit set. And you have to grind so much of that to get the specific role that you want, and then yeah, for it to look good, you end up compromising. You end up compromising cosmetics for perks, and that is a thing of the past, or it will be a thing of the past in Shadowkeep. Very
the
very
Insight
excited for
Rover
that.
vest.
Yes.
I found it. I have it sitting in my
Great.
vault.
It looks pretty. I love it.
Moving along, we have a lot of director's cut information, so I'm going to be talking a lot. I apologize.
So much. Oh, actually, there's one last thing from the Armor 2.0 stream that we saw that I want to talk about, which is the updated UI. On your character screen, when you open it up, it's going to show your ghost and your sparrow behind you,
Yes, I think
which
that's cool.
is kind of cool. Yeah. So you can flex your sparrow. Um,
Yes, because that's not a big enough flex right now.
I
Although,
mean, the annoying thing is, it's just going to mean that when people spectate me or when people inspect me, they're going to see that I haven't taken off the Cade Sparrow in like over a year.
it's alright. People are going to inspect me and see the baby sparrow.
Yeah, they might not be able to see it behind your fat warlock ass.
Beep beep.
Meep, meep.
Alright, moving along to the director's cut.
Yeah, director's cut. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take a breather, take a step back, let you handle this, and I'll just chime in whenever I have a question. If I need something to
Yep.
clarify.
So, director's cut part 1. because there's three parts to the director's cut.
They're all
The
so
first
long.
one, the first one was the past 6 months, so from Season of the Drifter forward. Um, and Bungie was kind of taking a step back to reflect on how they did this past year with the annual pass because it's a different content cycle than they've ever done before. And Luke was talking about how they accomplished what they wanted to. They gave the players what everyone expected, right? They followed their roadmap. However, there was a lot of burnout. So what they're looking for with D2 Year 3 is a new way to standardize loot, kind of like the Chalice,
Yeah.
because they basically had to build from the ground up Forges, Gambit Prime, Reckoning, Menagerie, all of the loot, all of the gear, all of the encounters, everything within a year.
Yeah.
And most people moved from content to content to content, like without break. So that's just a lot of work.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
I
and
think I
to
think
be,
they were on the right track with some of it. I'm not going to say the Reckoning. I think the Reckoning was a mistake in terms of the way you get loot from it. But I
mhm,
liked the Forges as a stepping stone to picking your loot, and then of course the Chalice just expanded on that and became its whole own thing, and I love it.
yes. So I
Knowing
think if
exactly what you're going to get is delightful.
yes, having a deterministic result of your loot is fantastic. Um, so I think moving along, they're going to there might be less content throughout the year, which I am okay with, as long as it's good content,
Yeah, because I
right?
think the biggest thing that we worry about as Destiny players is getting another season of the Drifter, where it's like
Yes.
this is just a slightly different version of something you already have and a horde mode.
Mhm.
And it's so easy to get bored of it, especially
Yep.
if at the end of the day you're still relying on RNG.
Mhm.
Like with Black Armory, you and I, if we're like, oh, I really, really would love a new energy weapon so I could bring up this thing that I just got. Dropped from somewhere. I don't have anything to infuse into it. If only there was a way that I could guarantee once a week an energy weapon that was powerful gear on light. And
Yep.
then we go, oh, well, let's just take 10 minutes to go complete an auto rifle frame. Because it doesn't matter
Yep.
what we get, what rolls on it. It doesn't matter, we want to infuse it. So we just pick
Mhm.
something in the right slot, infuse away. And it was nice. But there was also very limited loot from that. And I think that's where the issue came in with Black Armory.
Yeah. So both the going back to Forges, going back to 801, the whole like system with that wasn't exactly the best. A lot of people were frustrated with that they couldn't just keep grinding away.
Yeah.
Um, Gambit Prime and Reckoning had its own issues that we'll get to in a second. Menagerie was probably the best system that we've had so far for deterministic loot.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, the issue there then became the chest glitch, um, and then I guess kind of loot becoming too limited after a little while because we were
Yeah,
spoiled on getting 6 to 8
exactly.
drops per run.
But let's keep in mind that Bungie didn't just say, haha, screw you. They are doing something about it so it feels more rewarding. I don't think we know quite what yet,
Yes,
but
that will be coming in later.
they're still working on making that loot system and the Reckoning and stuff like that better for us players so that we can get loot. So as long as they
Hmm.
provide us with good loot, a fun grind for said loot, and just decent content that has replayability, I'm fine with there being less content per drop.
Correct. Um, One thing moving along that they said is there's too many powerful rewards within Destiny.
100%.
Like just within strikes, you have five. Right? You have your daily strike, your weekly strike, Nightfall 100k, and the story playlist.
Yeah.
Five powerful rewards right there. That's your entire armor set.
Yeah.
And we haven't even left strikes. So with the next upcoming seasons they're going to be dropping that back. But we'll get into that a little later with
Yeah.
Director's Cut Part 2.
See, I do think it's interesting
Um,
how currently, if a new player picks up the game and they would say to me, "Hey, Stallion, I'm enjoying the game, but I want to level up. How do I get higher level stuff? How do I get higher powerful gear?" And my answer to them would be, "Do anything." Like,
yep, yep. So
that's
there's
so
so many
much.
powerful awards. There's so much to do, and it refreshes quite often that players kind of feel like it's a chore to do powerful awards versus, you know, actually doing it for the power grind.
Yeah, because you hit
Um,
max power so fast as well.
yeah, yeah, and we'll touch on that later on.
Yep, yep, yep.
This is just kind of recapping things. With Season of the Drifter, there was too much focus on Gambit. Um, Reckoning was not rewarding enough, and Reckoning broke a lot of the rules for encounters that Bungie makes.
Yeah,
Um, so one of those rules for encounters is like you know where the enemies are spawning, whether that be like the Vex Cloud or Cabal Drop Pod, and Reckoning kind of broke that.
yeah,
And the reason it broke that was because there's too many overpowered exotics and weapons. Um, Namely the super recharging ones, right? Skull Dharmakara, overpowered weapons, super rifts, stuff like that. So they're going to be changing that within the horizon.
yeah,
Um, there will be some nerfs to mechanics that circumvent ammo spawns, as well as damage stacking and more. But we'll get into that again a little later. With Season of the Opulence, we had a overhaul for the Pursuits tab, um, which was not met with a lot of kindness.
no, it was
Um,
not.
and
Especially from us.
the team, yeah,
We spent, what was it, like 10 minutes a few episodes ago just talking about how much we hate it.
yeah. The team responsible for that said that their expectations were not met, and I think part of that was because of the response from the community, not necessarily the responses, but how the responses were given.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. The thing is, like, I see what they were going for with it. It is more reminiscent of the way that the quests and bounties worked in D1,
mhm.
but it's just, I don't know. I think people get used to it the other way, and they were very angry when it wasn't that way anymore. Because
Yeah,
I don't think it
I've
was anything that anyone was complaining about, right? Like, no one wanted it to change. We just wanted a bit more space.
yes. Um, but there is another redesign coming in the fall where the pursuits, the actual quest items, and the bounties are in two separate tabs, which I
Yeah,
think is cool. It
which is
clutters it up a little less.
far more reminiscent of Destiny 1 as well, which I'm 100% on board with. Totally down with that.
The only thing that I would suggest is overhauling it so that the pursuits come up first. I would like to see my pursuits instead of the director. Or,
Yeah, I can see that. The map or whatever.
yeah, just because I'm going to my pursuits more often than I am going to my map if I'm actually, following quests and stuff. So I'd
Yeah,
like that to come up faster, or at least
100%.
optimize it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the last part of Director's Cut Part 1 is Eververse. So, Eververse is going to be changing so that you are getting your power via the game, and you are getting vanity through Eververse.
Yeah.
Um, which I think is okay, honestly.
Yeah.
The one thing that I am worried about is that all vanity items are going to come through Eververse, um, which would be kind of bad.
Well, they did say not all. There are
Yeah,
still going to
not
be
all, but like,
ships and sparrows and shaders and stuff that you can earn just in the world. I imagine stuff like endgame activities and stuff like that.
yeah, I just hope they're like on par with Eververse. If they're going to be lessening the amount of stuff coming from the open world, I hope the open
Yeah.
world stuff is as cool.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Because one of my biggest issues is, like, for example, the Dreaming City Ghost Shell and then the Raid Ghost Shell, the Lost Wish
Hmm.
Ghost Shell. Very similar. Very, very similar. Like,
Yep.
at a glance, I couldn't tell you which is which. Just, like, I mean, probably if I actually took a look at it, but if I glance over it, I'm just going, oh, it's something Forsaken related. Maybe the Raid. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I would like to see more unique things out in the wild. If there's gonna be less of them, I don't want more
Hmm.
year one reskins.
Yep. Um, I would be okay with like different design choices, like they've been going with some of the ghost shells. Some of them are obviously per taste, as well as sparrows and ships, but you know, it's always
I would just like to see a
subjective.
couple of like crazy ghost shells out there, you know, like the Sunshot shell, for example, something like that.
The last part in Director's Cut Part 1 is the Whisper Ornaments, specifically the microtransactions from the Whisper Ornaments, basically fueled the cost of development for the Outbreak mission and Zero Hour, which I
Yeah,
think was really cool, so that we kind of know where our money is going,
yeah.
in a way. Um, and if they're going to do more stuff like that, I will 100% support it.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. And the thing is, like,
Because,
again, this is all stuff that's like, as a player, it's your choice. You get to enjoy the content one way or another. Please, if you're out there and you don't like microtransactions and you choose not to take part, fine. But don't be a dick to people that do,
mm-hmm, yeah,
because it's because of them that you get this cool stuff.
yep,
Let people spend their money how they want. Like, for example, yeah, just a few days ago, I spent some money on silver so that I could get some ornaments. I'm more than happy with my purchase. My guns look sick now, and considering when I play the game, all I'm looking at is my guns. That's very important to me. I don't
mm-hmm,
see my own armor. I don't see my shaders. I hardly see my ship. I see my
yep,
sparrows sometimes, but most of the time I'm trying not to crash into things. It's like the most important thing is the weapon ornaments. And I'm
mm-hmm.
fine with spending the money for that because it makes my screen prettier.
Moving right along to Director's Cut Part 2, just because we have so much information.
Yeah, there's a
Armor
lot.
2.0 was talked about, transition. We did talk about that recently. But right now at base for the intellect, discipline, and strength. So if you have no super mods, no grenade mods, no uh, impact mods, I believe they're called.
Oh, sorry,
We're
that
at
is actually something I wanted to mention is those mods and applied to um, armor and stuff instead of it being the way it is now, where it's like, yep, it's buffing your super, we promise. Um, it will actually directly affect the intellect, discipline, or strength stat. So you'll see the bump, and it will then tell you how much it's reducing it by, stuff like that.
nice. But right now at base in D2 Year 2, we're at Tier 3. So
Yes.
if we remove everything going into Shadowkeep, we are technically getting a net loss,
Yeah.
which I'm honestly okay with.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Um, I much prefer Destiny's gunplay over ability spam.
100%. And it's
Uh,
something they've been trying to balance since the launch of D2, really.
they have. It kind of went from not enough to swung the complete opposite direction, so they're trying to find a good balance about it, which I'm okay with.
Yep.
Um, the other thing that they're anticipating, and I'm 100% on board with this, is the better your armor currently, the less incentive the slower you will be to adopt Armor 2.0. And the worse your armor, the faster you'll adopt Armor 2.0 because you have less kind of holding you to that armor set.
Yeah.
Right, so currently I have, enhanced hand cannon reloader, sniper scav, unflinching, sniper on my chest, traction on my boots, sniper scav on my bonds, remote connection on my helmet. Like, I'm set. Unless I get something substantially better, I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to switch until much later until I have all of the enhanced mods.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't benefit me. But someone who's super casual, doesn't have enhanced perks, they're not attached to that armor, they're going to jump on board right away.
Or there is a third camp of people, which is people like me, who have really good armor, have my perfect sets and stuff like that, and I might fall back to them for stuff like PvP if I absolutely have to.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to switch to Armor 2.0 immediately,
Yeah.
just to
Um,
experience the new content, and I guess like adjust to it faster.
yeah, and it's not a catch-all, but that's kind of what they're anticipating is
Mm-hmm.
people who have grinded out their perfect sets, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
myself. chances are we're going to be just adopting it a little slower.
Yeah.
Um, uh, the other thing is no enhanced mods at the start, which is kind of bummer for me because I'm used to enhanced mods at this point.
Yeah.
Um, so that's part of the reason why they're thinking it's going to be a little slower.
Yeah, exactly.
And one final touching point on this is all armor 1.0 isn't obsolete, so you will transition when you feel like it, which I think is a very good move.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
They're not forcing this down your throat saying
That
this
was,
is better,
I mean,
like
that was
with
the
year
problem
2.
last year, right? Like,
Yeah.
everyone was accustomed to the way the armor works and all that sort of stuff. And we mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Everyone was grinding for that Solstice gear. And then as soon as Forsaken dropped, it was like, fuck Solstice gear. Just use blues. Because it was better. But
Yep.
now
So,
they're making a point. Everything that you have currently, bringing it up to light in Shadowkeep will be worth it if the armor is worth using to you.
yep. Yep. So it's when you want to transition. It's not when the game tells you transition.
Yeah,
which I think is nice. Regarding power level, and powerful sources, we did touch upon this last director's cut, but we'll expand on that. Shadowkeep will cut down on how many powerful rewards there will be, kind of like Forsaken's release, where we had powerful rewards up until you were at level, and then they became not powerful rewards.
Yeah.
And then you grinded out other things to get powerful rewards, and then once you were at level, they became regular.
Yes.
So it becomes less of like there's so much to do, and there's kind of a little bit more of a linear grind for it, which I'm okay with.
I might be jumping the gun a little bit, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they said something about everything becoming 750.
Yes, so that will be in a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I don't know. We were talking about powerful gear and power level. I figured I'd ask.
Yes. So everything in your vault, everything on your character, will become 750 once Shadowkeep hits. So unless you really, really want one thing at max power for Iron Banner or the raid, you don't need to touch it.
Or I mean, if you have the materials spare and you're like, I like seeing the 750. I mean, go for it, man.
Yeah, for sure. No one's gonna stop you.
Like we have a friend and clanmate, Fat Party, who he's a little bit low on materials because he doesn't get to play as much as we do. He's a little bit behind on the content. Same reason he didn't play as much as we did. So, and he only recently hit 750, and he was like, I'm really worried about having to grind to 750 again on my Warlock. I'm gonna tell him not to bother.
Yeah.
Like, you just play the game to do what's fun instead of feeling so much pressure to level up to 750 just so that you're ready for Shadowkeep. Because when Shadowkeep drops, everything's 750. You're good.
What is this? The next is Prime Engrams. So we all know Prime Engrams is those powerful engrams that drop. Those will start dropping at 900 power. You kind of build up charges as you level. So what that means is more engrams, but they give you less power.
Right.
And world drops will now be on your power level.
Okay.
So the example that they gave is, say you're 912 power overall, but your gauntlets are at 909.
Yep.
You have a chance at getting 912 gauntlets, which then boost up your overall.
Yes. Okay. I'm fine with that.
I'm totally okay with that because right now you get a world drop. It's like 20 below your power, and you're like, well, now I have to infuse this in order to use this in higher content if I like it.
Or if you get a world drop exotic, for example. Like, when I see an exotic engram on the floor, I don't think, ooh, I wonder what it's going to be. I think, ooh, I wonder what I can infuse that into.
Yep.
Because exotics are just free infusions, basically.
The last part in this is the seasonal artifact. So this is per season, so every season there's going to be a new artifact that you can level up. These are leveling up over the season, so you don't have to do anything specific. It's just added on to your leveling.
Yep. So the same way that currently when you carry on gaining XP, it goes toward the Eververse engrams, it's now going to go towards the artifact.
It's going to go to the artifact in the background. So as you're
Yeah.
leveling through whatever, you don't have to think about it, but it will grant mods for that season. So with Shadowkeeper going to the moon, it might do moon mods or whatever.
Just
I
me
don't know
on
what's coming.
would Moon Mods be a great name for a band or what?
So with each season, there will be a new artifact. I
Yes.
don't know if those previous season artifacts are going to depreciate or how that's going to work. We'll probably find out later. More information about that
I mean, so
later.
from the inventory screen that we got to see during the stream, it seemed like it was something that sits right below your ghost on the character screen,
Hmm.
and I'm wondering if we're gonna be able to switch them out. Like, as like if you would go back and do some shadow keep sheep.
Shadow
If you
Sheep.
were to go back and do shadow keep content, could you put on that artifact for something? I don't know. I'm not really clear on what they do outside of the mods. Maybe there's
Yeah,
more.
I'm
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Maybe
Um,
I'm hoping it's going to be like a personal clan banner, like how the clan banners now. Once you level them up, you get little buffs throughout the season. They reset at the end of the season.
yeah.
But in this case, they would be replaced by the new season's artifact. So if you were to put the old one on, it would apply whatever buffs during that season's content. If that
Hmm.
makes sense. That's what I'm hoping for. This is just pure theory crafting, basically.
Hmm.
I would like to see
Um,
something like that because there are people out there who want to get the clan benefits but don't have a clan, and this would be a good way to
yes.
get around that.
Yes. Hmm. The artifacts are will increase in power as you level them up, but they aren't factored into your power level.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so
that's something they learned from Destiny One, huh?
yep, that's something I learned from Destiny 1. Forever 3.99.
Forever 3.99.
And the last point within Director's Cut 2 is there will be pinnacle powerful rewards. Um, so kind of like the Mountaintop or Recluse or Hush.
Don't ever say
There will
that name to me again.
there will be um, pinnacle powerful sources,
Yeah.
and those are the only way for you to go up past 950, which is the power cap. People are thinking that the max power for Shadowkeep is going to be 1,000. Um, but the pinnacle powerful sources are the only way of getting past that, which I
That's
think is
interesting.
fine
I mean,
because it gives people a prestige of having max power,
okay, but
and it
is it
gives
gonna work the way like powerful gear does now, where it's like, oh, here's this pinnacle thing. It's like
no, I think it's
10
going to be an
above or
actual
whatever,
reward.
or is it gonna be like, is it gonna have a fixed light level so that you can exceed
I think it's
950?
going to have a fixed light level
Okay,
past
good.
950 because you're only going to be able to get those, from what I understand, when you're at 950.
Okay, so you hit 950 and then you can get the pinnacle rewards.
Yes.
I'm cool with that.
Um,
It gives me more incentive to actually hit 950.
yes, I'm totally okay with that because right now there's 750 people everywhere, and if you see that, you're like, oh, you put in a lot of work, kind of, maybe.
Like, oh,
Whereas,
you probably play like 3 or 4 hours a week. Like, it's so easy to get 750.
yeah, whereas like back in D1, if you saw someone at max power like week 2 or 3, you're like, wow, you did a lot of work.
Like, wow, you have no friends. And that was me.
Um,
I was one of the people with no friends.
so I think it's okay because it brings back the prestige of having that power by doing the hardest activities, like
Oh,
prestige
absolutely,
raids,
yeah. I
stuff like that.
mean, okay, you weren't around for it, but I mean, the Forever 29 meme. If you saw someone at 30 light back in vanilla, it was like, wow, you're so lucky. Because you could only do that through playing like an annoying amount of Vogue every week.
Yep.
You're very quiet all of a sudden. Panda? Guys, Panda died. We lost Panda. Panda!
Hello?
You're real quiet. Did you do something to your mic? Like, it sounded like something maybe got unplugged.
I just.
You're really, really, really quiet.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Uh,
You're so quiet.
Alright. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to yell.
Yeah.
Um,
Are we done with part 2?
We are.
Okay,
We
well
are.
then I think I can mostly handle part 3.
Alright.
Maybe some of it. You're gonna have to correct me when I'm inevitably wrong, but that's. It was PvP, right? PvP stuff.
So not entirely. Started out with damage.
Dude, I cannot hear you. You're cutting out. Doom, 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 doom.
So what if we do this?
Well, I don't know. That's not better.
Is it not better?
Not really. You're still really quiet. Oh god.
Is this better?
Not really.
No.
Try leaving the call and rejoining. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Panda's notes. Oh, I can't read that. No. Please.
Round 2?
Oh no.
Not better?
No.
I don't. The way of.
Okay, because of technical difficulties, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. We'll cover part 3 of the director's cut next week. It'll be our primary focus. And we'll try to make sure that everything doesn't explode. So since nobody is going to be able to hear Panda, you can find him in a Discord near you. He's in literally all of them. At the r/ShardItKeepIt subreddit, where he is a moderator. You can find him at twitch.tv/PandaPax with 2 X's, and on Twitter at PandaPax with 1 X, I think. As well as his YouTube channel, which is also PandaPax with 1 X, and the RNGeez channel, which is where you should be watching this right now. Don't forget to smash like. And you can find me at SirStallionTTV on Twitter. You can find me in a bunch of Discords near you, including our Scrim Discord, specifically for the PS4 people out there, which we'll have a link down in the downstairs, on twitch.tv/SirStallion and YouTube SirStallion the Third. I'm so sorry for that terrible outro. I had to try and remember everything off the top of my head. We'll do better, I promise. Thank you for watching.